Rumors of the Gray Man being spotted in Pawleys Island, South Carolina. AI is becoming more and more conscious, and the supposed haunted Annabelle doll has gone missing. In today's video, we're going to be reacting to some of the strangest clips that I could find on TikTok. Let's get into it.
Things kidnappers look for.
You might be about to get kidnapped according to a lot of videos going around on TikTok at the moment. There's been a few of these videos about going pretty viral about it's freaking out the internet. Things kidnappers look for being short people, people with long hair or even baggy clothes apparently, people who are especially distracted, walking on their phones and won't necessarily notice anything. Does that actually mean you're gonna get kidnapped? While it is true these are typical trends that have happened to people who have been kidnapped, it doesn't mean you are actually going to. The most kidnappings actually happens with wealthy families where the kidnapper knows they can hold them for ransom or get something out of it, so it depends what you're wearing or where you are. But most commonly it's actually targeted so they would know that person. However, if you are unfortunately ever in that situation, there's a few things that can help you. If you have a bobby pin in your hair or something, you can use that to break handcuffs. Wearing trainers, you've probably got laces in them, well they can actually help you to break out of zip ties and tape. But don't worry, it is extremely unlikely to happen to you.
Out of all the scary stories and monsters out there, people are some of the scariest. Please be very aware of your surroundings. I see so many people walking, looking at their phones, not even paying attention, running into other people that are also looking at their phones. And I see people while they're driving, looking at their phones while they're driving. It's crazy to me.
You had a woman on, some aliens came into her during the show.
Yes, we are here. We are here. We are very happy to be here. Yes, indeed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know who that was, or?
That was the Great Council.
So let me say this, because this has never happened. You've been to my Vegas studio. I filmed 500 episodes there.
Yeah.
The TV screens, when she was channeling behind her, were going off and on.
Wow.
The lights were going off and on. We replaced everything. Like, we stopped the episode, replaced all the wires. My producer came in.
All right, then.
Still going off and on after. And I filmed 6 episodes right after her the same day, no issues. So I don't know.
So you're saying it's the aliens?
I'm saying it's something. I don't know if it's aliens. I don't know if it's a spirit. It was hard not to laugh, not gonna lie, but I try to be open-minded.
I don't know about all that. In a way, she kind of looked like Bashar, or the guy that plays as Bashar. I can't remember his name. I think it's Daryl. And they kind of talk the same as well, so maybe there's a thing there. But let me know what you guys think. I don't really buy it personally, but if that guy's being truthful and all of his TVs and everything were flickering on and off, that's to raise some questions. But again, let me know what you guys think about this one.
When you're driving into Branson, Missouri, there's this valley in these Ozark Hills, and there's just it's a row of mansions, all abandoned.
Ew.
Literally never lived in, just wide open
this?
mansions right outside of Branson, Missouri. It's like eerie sight, especially when there's the fog in the lower valley, and they're really pretty houses, but it's just all grown up. It's weeds and trees all around them, and it's
so weird.
It's
Because I'd rather live in a cardboard box in Florida than a mansion in Branson, Missouri.
Shout out to all of our Branson, Missouri fans.
I just remember when we went there and I was just like,
You went there in January, of course you did.
Like nobody was doing anything. There were people anywhere.
It's literally the Las Vegas of the Midwest, and you went there during their off season. That's why. It's a terrible Missouri in the wintertime is terrible.
Speaking of China,
Don't say it. Please don't say it.
FBI.
Oh god.
How the FBI is like constantly warning us that there is an imminent cyber attack that is.
Yeah, I
about to
keep
happen
hearing
from-
about it. What's going on with that?
Don't know.
It's like, so you're just telling us like there's a threat?
I just want to bring it up.
I don't know much about witchcraft.
You don't want to.
What is it?
There are black witches and white witches, that there are witches that do good. Witchcraft is still witchcraft. It's the use of the elements, and there's alchemy, there's wizardry, sorcery, electricity, magic, use of blood, use of spit, use of sperm. I did it 2 times. Both of them worked, and then I went,
Are you serious?
this is bigger than I am. That really fucked my life up, and it took years for us to get out of it.
What were your hexes?
One was something that had to do with the guy that actually punched me. What happened was, we went to school that day. The guy walked up to me and just slugged me. The second bus shows up and we get in the bus and we take off. He's coming up to his house and he walks through the walkway in the bus and elbows me in the back of the head as he's getting out. And I was trying to fit in, so I had a mouthful of Red Man. And when he hit me, I went, ooh, and I swallowed that shit. That's it. I'm going to do something about this. So I looked through the book and I found something that would do what I wanted. I did that hex.
What did you want to happen?
I really don't want to get into it because I don't want anybody to be misled and try and figure out what I did. When you open up the doors to the dark, they're not going to wait to be invited in. They're coming.
Do you think you were possessed?
Oh, I know it was when we went to San Francisco to go see the Filipino priest. He said that he laid hands on me and the head of a bull came out of my chest.
I really wish that he would have went into detail as to what happened to the person that he supposedly hexed. It's like, why are you even talking about it, or you're in this situation if you're not even going to talk about the talk, you know? I believe that there is some form of witchcraft, if you will. Maybe it's just willpower or willing things into existence, but there's sometimes where you can think of something or think of someone and it's not even a day later and they're popping up in your life. That happens to me quite a bit. I think some people call that premonition, but it can kind of all go in the same to me. I believe it to be a part of witchcraft if witchcraft is real, or wizardry, or sorcery, or whatever term you want to use.
Is something massive coming to South Carolina? We very well may have our first hurricane of the season, and if you've heard, it's going to be a crazy, worse hurricane season. How could it be worse than last year? And this part right here is very, very peculiar. The Comfort ship was just spotted in the Caribbean hours before the hurricane news came. Hours before it came. Does somebody know something? This is Into Thin Air. He watches for major weather events and things happening in the sky, and he's calling it on June 8th. And for some reason, people seem to think it's going to be a Category 4 or 5. It would kind of make sense, though. I mean, the water temperatures around Florida are well above average. Not only that, but the Ring of Fire itself has been extremely, scarily active. Kind of like the world's falling apart over here. How these storms are forming is the craziest part. Literally just popped out of nowhere. Pretty unsettling to say the least. Speaking of the world falling apart in Florida and the water temperatures, have y'all seen the Everglades? It is completely barren over there. Like, my goodness, could you imagine all the animals that passed away because of man-made bullcrap? It's kind of like humanity ruins everything. It actually makes me sick to think of what the world's gonna look like in just 5 years. If we're even still here, I doubt we will be. Now back to this image right here that I showed you at the beginning of the video. Let me blow it up for you. So this is the Gray Man, which is a urban legend talking about this silhouette of a man that shows up before a crazy, chaotic hurricane comes. Sure does look like what they say. I guess we'll see what happens. But you know, all these legends, this Gray Man, the Doomsday Bitch popping up every single day, kind of leads me to believe it's true.
I'm pretty certain that that Gray Man is just someone running to the waters. I could be wrong, but definitely looked just like someone running to the ocean to me. And with the hurricanes, I am not a fan of hurricanes, and I try to keep my eye on them as much as possible. And I can say that it has been rainy and sort of windy here in South Carolina a little bit, but honestly, we've needed some of the rain because it's been dry the past month, at least in my area of South Carolina. But we don't need any hurricanes. Nobody needs any of that. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. For everyone that's currently watching and or subscribed, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel.
Y'all, this is so strange. This Redditor's son was coming home around 1:30 in the morning, and he was struggling to get the front door open, which prompted their Ring doorbell to alert him that he was at the door. The user said he come over the intercom and asked who he was bringing home with him, which his son replied, nobody, even turned around and looked and said there was nobody there. But these are the photos that the Ring doorbell captured. As you can see, there's somebody standing right behind him. The OP of the video said that there was a homeless man that had recently OD'd and passed away in front of their townhome. And he believes that this is his ghost. And I do find it really strange how this figure is blurry. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that this guy was just pretending to not see anybody? Or do you think this is the ghost of that homeless man? Let me know. Don't forget to like and follow.
That definitely looked like someone standing behind him. Either his son was not being honest and they were just letting a friend come over and they were just joking around, or there's a demon standing behind that guy, because that looked sinister. But all in all, I'm sure it's some kind of glitch going on in the camera that seems to happen a lot with Ring cameras, where there's these shadow images happening. Now, it could also be maybe that's how ghosts are popping up on cameras. Everyone's always wanting ghosts to show up on camera, so there it is. But it has this fakeness to it, or it's just either that or it's too good to be true. That photo did not look fake, so it only leads me to believe that it's one of two things. Either that guy's playing a joke, they're just joking around and they have a friend coming over, or it could be potentially a glitch on that camera device, just doing some artifacting or ghosting an image from the guy approaching the door. Let me know what you guys think about this. Again, I really don't think that photo's fake, but I could be wrong. Let me know if it is.
What the hell is going on here? Honestly, this might have been the most dangerous cheese rolling event we've had in years. Because unlike many before this when the ground was soft and muddy, this year Gloucestershire's had a lot of sunny weather, making that hill dry and hard. So much so that among other injuries, 2 competitors had to be rushed to hospital by air ambulance. And you'll be shocked to hear that this guy somehow wasn't one of them. According to people who actually saw this in person, after his brutal backflip, he was laid out on the ground for about 15 minutes getting medical attention before miraculously getting up and walking away. Craziest part though, bro wasn't even competing. He went down the hill in the for fun run right at the end when you're not even chasing the cheese. That victory belonged to a German YouTuber, Tom Kopke, who has won this event for the 2nd year in a row now. But the backflip man is still the people's champ because everyone's saying that he deserves the Cheesador for this.
Hey, I mean, there's a sport for everything, I guess, because I've heard of this, I've never really seen it, but if that's what that looks like, I do not want any partake in that. I would like to eat the cheese though. I do not know how they manage to take such abuse. There's definitely some broken bones that are happening out there.
Hello friends. So aliens are fascinated and terrified by our cameras. We're about to go down a wild little rabbit hole here, okay? So I heard in one of the Explorer tapes them say something along the lines of that Earth and humans are the only place, or at least it's incredibly rare in existence, to have cameras and to be able to capture, and think about that word, capture images and videos of reality. And here's why. Sorry, Florida in the summer, there's all sorts of things attacking me here. But, so here's why. We live in what I call the simulator for consciousness development. It's kind of like a virtual reality world. So the vast, expanse of existence across the universe and other dimensions and realms is non-physical in nature, okay? So most things are non-physical, but things like Earth and humans, we're a physical existence. This whole reality here, this whole simulator is a physical simulator. It's a way for our non-physical consciousness to stream into it and have a physical existence. So we have these very specific rule sets here on Earth that govern our reality and make it very material. But think about when you're in a dream state, or you're visualizing something, you're in an imagination state, any of those states. Can you take a picture? Can you freeze that image? Can you take that information? Because remember, everything's information based. Can you freeze that information and then pass it on to somebody and they will see the exact same thing you saw? No, of course not. It's all subjective. It's a participatory universe. You're rendering the information and it's going to be different for every single person. Okay, so then why do photographs and videos work on Earth? Well, it's because we have a shared consensus. We have a collective consciousness here on Earth, and we have these rule sets that govern our simulator in this physical matter reality that give it all the very defined rules and make everything very material, okay? If I run into that tree, it's gonna hurt because it's a tree there and it's following the rule sets. But when I dive deep into the atomic structure of that tree, we find out that there's nothing there. It's all just energy and information, okay? But on this physical matter reality here of Earth, we have a consensus that everything is real and everything follows certain rules. And when we take a picture and I show that picture to someone else, they're gonna see pretty much the same thing I see. But here's where it gets a little weird. There are tons of, instances where 2 people look at one picture and see it totally different, see totally different colors, totally different shapes, even count different number of objects in the pictures, okay? So even though it is an objective photograph of objective reality, nothing is really objective because it all has to be rendered through our personal VR headsets. But anyways, let's get back to the alien thing. So why would aliens be kind of scared and fascinated of cameras? Well, here's the thing. They don't exist in our physical matter reality. They exist out there in the non-physical state. And they hop through dimensions and stuff, and every dimension is going to have different rule sets. But we're in this very dense material, existence here where our rule sets are very rigid. So we can take a picture, print out a photograph, show it to other people, pass it around, and everyone sees it. Well, where they come from, it's not like that. They can't take a picture of the non-physical like I can't take a picture of my dream. So they think it's fascinating that we can do this. But here's the thing. Since they don't exist in this physical matter reality, they just dip in and dip out the same way we kind of dip into the ocean and dip out. We can't live in there, right? So when we take a photograph of them, it starts to apply some of our rigid rule sets, some of our materialistic, physics to their non-material existence, and then it starts to kind of suck them in a way to our physical matter reality here, and they don't want that. they want to be able to dip in and dip out. So there's a very good reason why they're fascinated by, but also terrified of us taking pictures and video of them, because it makes them more real. And they don't want to be more real. They just want to observe this world because they think it's interesting, but they don't want to be a part of it. And I have a feeling that if we were to take a photograph of, let's say, quote unquote, an alien, okay? Have you ever wondered why there's no photographs of aliens? People say there are, but I haven't seen one, right? Maybe little fuzzy, stealthy, I don't know, little blurry things, right? They have a way of cloaking themselves. They have a way of not fully phasing into our existence here. And I believe a big part of that is not so much because they don't want us to see them, it's because they don't want to be captured, quote unquote, captured by our exotic, rare technology, what we call cameras and sensors. So I just think that's fascinating. Thinking more about the rareness and what a photograph actually is a very fascinating peek into what our existence is. And when you think about it from an alien point of view and why aliens are fascinated and terrified of our cameras, it really shines a new light on this whole simulator and what's outside the simulator. Let me know what you guys think about this. Have a beautiful day. Peace.
Very interesting theory. I've never actually thought of that before. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that I believe it if there is interdimensional or interdimensional traveling species out there. But the theory behind it being that if you take a picture of this interdimensional species, it kind of locks a part of it to this reality, to this dimension. But to me, if they are an actual interdimensional creature, our technology, depending on how it's built, might not even be able to recognize what it's seeing to capture it. Or the image that we do capture would be highly distorted or something because it just can't comprehend that dimensional geometry that it's seeing. Let me know what you guys think of this theory. I think it's a pretty good one, but I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. I have been seeing this video float around on TikTok for a while now, so I thought I would just go ahead and add it here. I do not know if this is coming from a movie, if this is something that's from TV, but that definitely looks like someone flying. Now, it could also be CGI, of course, and that's probably what it is. But if anyone out there knows, please let me know in the comments, because it's been getting on my nerves because it's all over the internet, on TikTok at least.
Are glitches on the rise? Because it seems like we're getting video after video of real life glitches. But some people are calling this some sort of time hop or time traveler. The footage comes from a man named Tyler out of Chicago. He was doing a random Snapchat when he captured something that absolutely freaked him out. What appears to be a man crossing the street and then disappearing. I had to slow this video down and zoom in, and I still can't see how he disappeared. Take a look at this footage, comment below, tell me what you think.
Where the f did he go? Where the f did he just go?
Hey, this is actually a pretty good one. He either ducked down to tie his shoe in front of a stoplight just at the right moment where that guy was filming to where he was not seen, or possibly he ran back the other way real quick and the guy just didn't notice because he was so focused on the phone watching him through it, or it could be a setup. I do find it a bit odd that he was filming just some random individual on the side of the road walking across the road. I mean, she said he was using Snapchat or something, but I don't know what that has to do with him filming that random person walking across the street. So that kind of makes me think that it might have been a setup, but I have not a clue really. Nonetheless, that was a really good trick of the eye or trick of the camera to make it look like he just vanished.
We ceased from existing subliminally yesterday from 4 to 5 p.m. I bet if you go back, your brain will get really fuzzy about what happened in that hour. But there's something else majorly creepy going on. We'll come right back to this. Am I the only person getting zapped in the middle of my sleep randomly a few times a month? I kid you not, I'm just sitting there sleeping peacefully, falling asleep, and all of a sudden, zap! And it hurts like crazy. I know I'm not the only person experiencing this. Even crazier, before I switched mattresses, the zapping was originating what felt like in the springs of the mattress. The weird thing is, despite the mattress being changed, about a week or two ago, I was falling asleep with my phone in my hand, and I got a severe zap, almost like a cut pain. I flew out of bed and looked at it, and for 5 minutes after waking up, it still hurt. And the craziest part here is, besides the mattress, besides the phone, besides anything, I'll be laying in bed and still just get randomly zapped, shocked, out of nowhere. I know I'm not the only one. Let me know. The video behind me is just for attention, not really at all. I really wonder what it is. I just can't put my finger on it. Now back to the non-existing subliminally for 1 hour. The whole hour of my day is completely fuzzy. I know what happened, but I cannot remember it. And for the skeptics out there, it occurred on multiple machines and multiple recordings, not just one. We've seen this before in the middle of the night, and the morning was weird for everybody. Missing alarms and all that good stuff. And this brings me to, yes, your hunch is correct. Time is speeding up. The days are not matching what they used to. That's why the birds are tweeping at 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. Their days are messed up, just like in Enoch talks about the solar bodies manipulating their course. Those are messed up. The days go faster because the sun and the moon are literally moving faster. And this right here is just one glitch of this simulation that we call Earth. Let me know what y'all think below.
Now, I don't experience zapping while I'm sleeping. I do not really get good sleep in the first place, but I do experience the zapping, if you will. The only time that I experience it personally is if I'm sitting for a very long point or period of time. A good example is when I play Dungeons and Dragons. That's a game where I sit for multiple hours on end. Sometimes I don't even get up to stretch. I'm just continuously playing or DMing. At a certain point, my body will get so fatigued that if I lay my arm on the counter or something, the nerves in my body jolt. And it feels like a jolt of electricity going through either my hands or my arms. It's very uncomfortable. And I need to remind myself that I need to just get up and stretch and move a little bit, and that won't happen. And I think for this guy here, that could be the same cause. He could possibly be either laying down for too long, or he's just in an uncomfortable position and it's messing his nerves up, or just really bad static electricity. But let me know, have any of you experienced this zapping or a weird brain fog because of the past couple of days? I am interested to hear about that. I have not personally experienced any brain fog that I can think of. If I have, I've forgotten it, but I don't think I have. So let me know if you have experienced any of it.
The Annabelle doll is missing, but you won't believe what's actually going on. You may have seen the news yesterday and a lot of creators making videos today about the Annabelle doll being gone. Lorraine Warren, who of course kept the Annabelle doll, famously said no one should ever move this doll. But of course some people decided to take Annabelle on tour, where you probably saw what happened here, and a lot of other weird things that just happened in the areas where the doll was on tour. Now yesterday all of these videos have been going around saying Annabelle is missing. I mean, yeah, it's pretty damn scary, because, like, what the hell is actually going on? However, this video came out from one of the handlers of the doll who was actually doing the shows. Now, this was only 11 hours ago, and people are queuing to see her. And a couple of other people have said, no, she isn't missing, she never was missing, I don't know why this came out online. But of course, there still is speculation, because half the people are saying, well, it's just made up by people, but the other half of people are saying, well, maybe she was genuinely missing, because would they tell us if she was missing? Probably not. Like, there's no reason why they would want to cause a mass panic, so maybe it did happen and they were trying to keep it under wraps and it kind of failed. But let me know your thoughts and I will keep you updated.
So I looked this up, and apparently she never was missing according to the museum collectors. So I guess that got debunked pretty quickly, and that's a good thing. But I talked about this with my coworker today, and he brought up a really good point. All this news and information going on about this Annabelle doll is a really good marketing strategy for any future movie or any current movie coming along that kind of represents The Conjuring or Annabelle. Hearing the concept makes me think that that actually could be the strategy that they're going with this whole Annabelle doll thing going on the internet right now. Me personally, I don't know if I necessarily believe it to be a real haunted doll. They say it is, but I don't think that I would push my luck trying to see if it is. I'll just take people's words for it and just watch from a distance. But let me know, would you guys actually go to the tour and see the doll if you had an opportunity? Me personally, I'll pass. But I know there's some really big horror or spiritual enthusiasts out there that are all about it. So have fun. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. And with that being said, have a good day.